Today on The Young and the Restless, Nikki urges Victor to cut Adam loose, Victoria gives Nate the cold shoulder, and Sally has some explaining to do. At Adam's place, Sally tells him the photos bring back a lot of memories, but they have to find a way to move forward. Adam says they represent a time when he was truly happy. It's hard to just forget about that. Sally will always cherish the times they shared. Adam muses that she moved on and now wants him to forget altogether. He reminds her that she went snooping, he didn't set this up. Sally really wants him to find happiness and someone who loves him the way he deserves to be loved. Adam tells her she has no idea how much she still means to him. It's not something I can just turn off. Suddenly, Nick hammers on the door and shouts, "Adam, are you in there?" In Audra's suite, Kyle asks her to call him a genius again. She teases about the size of his ego, but admits his plan for her to go to Victor was a stroke of genius. Kyle wishes he could have seen Victor's face, and Adam's when he got an earful from his daddy. Victoria visits Nikki and Victor at the ranch. She assumes Victor's trip was productive. He says it was very nice, but being home, not so much. Your brother crossed the line again, Victoria asks. What has Adam done now? Victor tells her that Adam found some incriminating emails on Audra Charles and blackmailed her. Victoria says Adam is a spoiled brat who wants his toy, Newman Media, back. Nikki says Audra had the good sense to come clean. Victoria hopes Victor gave Adam the smackdown he deserves. She hopes it was the last straw. Victor says Nick was just there and agrees with her. I think we have all reached our limits with Adam's behavior. Nikki sniffs that it's time he faces consequences for his actions. This cannot continue. Adam opens his door to Nick, who fumes that their dad just told him what he's been up to with Newman Media. What are you thinking? Just then Nick spots his girlfriend and gops, Sally? What are you doing here? Sally came to see Adam and didn't think he'd be home until tomorrow. Adam's not in the mood for Nick's diatribe. Nick complains that he doesn't want him screwing things up for Sharon. Sally asks what's going on. Nick fills her in on Adam blackmailing Audra. Adam says blackmail is an exaggeration. Nick snaps, "You crossed the line. It was reckless and not the right way to handle things." Adam says, "Nick, you have your methods and I have mine." Nick fumes, "You think you know how this is going to play out? You have no idea." In Audra's room, she and Kyle agree that merging Augustus and Newman Media is the right thing to do, without Adam. Audra says Victor's against it, so she'll sit this one out. Kyle thinks she'll figure it out, it's all in the method. Audra likes his method and asks him to show her again. They start making out. At the ranch, Victoria is irked to hear that her father has given Adam one last chance. Victor says he's got to stay where he is right now. He won't risk losing the funds he acquired in Europe. Victoria argues that Adam can easily be replaced. Nikki sides with Victor and brings up Nate's part in this. She thinks her daughter should be concerned about Nate's ability to be manipulated. Victoria argues he was trying to defend a colleague and insists she can trust him. Victor intones, "He should have come to me right away," as Audra did. Victoria sniffs that Audra only came to him because she was out of options. Nikki doesn't trust Audra or Nate. Victoria snaps that Audra was involved in the cover-up, not Nate. She was also the mole at Chancellor Winters. What else do you think she's capable of? Victor asks if Victoria is suggesting they replace Audra. Victoria doesn't think it's a bad idea. Nikki can't believe she still trusts Nate. Victoria says he came clean with her. Nikki argues, only after he made a direct pitch to me to go along with Adam's idea. Victoria insists he was just trying to score a business success. Audra seems a lot more comfortable with duplicity and betrayal, almost as comfortable as Adam is. Victor muses, so fire Audra and get rid of Adam. Is that it? At the GCAC bar, Nate flashes to Audra warning him not to get complacent with Victoria. He must solidify his relationship with Victoria and take things to the next level. Tucker sidles up to the bar and sits down. Nate congratulates him on his wedding. Ashley is quite a woman. Tucker chuckles and says he's the luckiest of men. Nate asks if they'll take a honeymoon. Tucker says eventually, but they're busy right now in town. With Ashley as his business partner, they can't lose. Nate wonders if he's talked to Audra. It seems you both managed to dodge a career-killing bullet. At Adam's place, he's not interested in Nick's righteous indignation. He argues that merging the companies is a great idea. You know it. Sharon knows it. Even our father knows it. He's just being difficult to put me in my place. Sally asks exactly what he did with Audra. Adam says they had an agreement. He found incriminating information and he agreed to destroy it as a favor to her in exchange for her convincing Victor to merge the companies. Nick says what he's leaving out is that Audra felt trapped. It wasn't an exchange of favors. Adam had to try. Newman Media used to be mine. Sally says it's not anymore. Why would he think this was the way to get it back? Adam scoffs that Victor has done the same thing over the years. The end justifies the means. Sally disagrees and declares she can't be there anymore. Nick asks, "What's going on here anyway?" Sally will talk to him later. She exits. Adam tells Nick he can always count on him to screw up his life. In Audra's suite, she asks Kyle if he thinks she can manage to win over Nikki. Kyle tells her, "You've got a secret weapon. She's always liked me." Audra muses, more than her own granddaughter. She says if he's right, they'll get Nikki and Victor on their side. With Victoria distracted by Nate, the sky's the limit for them at Newman Media. Imagine the control they could have over a massive media empire. Kyle admires her thinking and they kiss. At the club bar, Tucker asks Nate which bullet they dodged. Nate says the blackmail by Adam and mocks him for acting like it just slipped his mind. He needles that it's always a good idea to check your spam folder. Tucker nods and tells Nate that if they dodged it as he said, he's relieved. Nate replies, "Thanks to Audra." Tucker's surprised they're so close. Nate says they share many of the same interests. Tucker warns she's a self-centered, ambitious person. She will take control of whatever she needs to in order to get what she wants, and she's very good at it. You won't see it coming. In Audra's suite, she tells Kyle it's not just about power and money, it's about the rush. She wants to enjoy herself in the process, and he strikes her as someone who hasn't had enough fun lately. Kyle teases, "It has been a while." Audra thinks that's why they're good together. Kyle will have to stick around and see how it plays out. They kiss. Audra tells him they're at the point where spending the night together sounds appealing. Just then, Tucker knocks on the door and calls out to her. At the ranch, Victoria complains that Victor has made Adam feel untouchable. Victor's sure he got the message this time. Victoria isn't buying it. Nikki reminds her they need to keep him in place right now due to the capital her father put in place. Victoria exclaims, "We'll secure other capital." Victor grunts, "It's not gonna happen." Victoria continues to pitch Victor on dumping Adam, who is only out for himself. "I hope by the time you figure this out, Daddy, I hope it's not too late." At Adam's place, he tells Nick they see the world through different lenses. Nick argues there's a right and wrong way. Adam scoffs, "And yours is always the right way." Nick warns that Victor is fed up and about to cut him loose. Adam asks Nick to stop pretending he cares. If he wants to fire me, he can do that. He won't compromise who he is and will do things the way he wants to. Nick gestures to the takeout and fumes. "This is another example. Sally is not with you anymore. She's with me. You need to respect that." Adam tells him Sally ordered the food. She set the table. She unpacked boxes. "For me. You see, she thinks that she loves you and I'm part of her past because I hurt her, but the memories of that hurt are not going to last forever. Soon she's going to remember what it's like to be with somebody who loves her more than you ever will." Nick tells Adam he's delusional and selfish. He needs to move on. Sally has made her choice. Adam doesn't owe him anything. He respects Sally's feelings but his don't concern him. He's fine to work together because it's what Sharon wants, but he doesn't care what he thinks or feels. Nick tells Adam he has nothing and no one, and he can't blame anyone else for that. Adam tells him to get out. Sally's waiting, and he doesn't want to disappoint her. Nick warns he won't let this slide. Audra lets Tucker into her suite, where Kyle is dressing. Tucker smirks at her getting some Kyle action. Kyle grins, "Uncle Tucker." Tucker cajoles about them being hard at work. Audra needles, "Did the wedding get called off at the last minute?" Tucker says his new bride is sleeping. He wants some alone time with Audra, but she tells him the McCall threat has been neutralized, so this is over. She gestures toward the door. Tucker needs a little more than just her say-so. Kyle thinks that should be enough. Tucker snaps, "Who the hell's talking to you?" Audra invites Tucker to go check in with Adam if he wants. "As far as we're concerned, this is over." Downstairs, Victoria tells Nate her visit to the ranch was eye-opening. Audra did seek out her father for help dealing with Adam, and it's all been resolved. Nate's glad to hear it. Victoria adds she had the most interesting conversation with her mother. A notification diverts her attention. Nate asks if everything is okay. You seem a bit troubled. Victoria says, I am. Your involvement with Audra caught me off guard. Why didn't you come to me first? Nate apologizes. Victoria warns if they're going to have a strong relationship, they have to be open with one another. Nate agrees and wants her to trust him. From now on, no more secrets. Nate knows her mother has doubts about him, but he plans to prove himself every day. He wants to be by her side in every aspect. Victoria believes in his potential and wants them to continue to grow together. Nate needs her to understand that he helped Audra because he believed it was best to keep the McCall scandal quiet. He's learned from his mistake and would do anything for her. She asks, anything. At the ranch, Nikki tells Victor that Adam continues to disappoint him. At some point, Victor asks her to trust him. Nikki says it's hard for her to stand by and watch him hurt him like this. Victor muses that he's a damaged boy because of his past. Maybe it's time to hold him accountable. Nikki points out that he never learns. How much longer will they let him keep wreaking havoc in their family? We are much stronger if we stand united. Victor sighs, maybe it's time to reassess my relationship with Adam. In Sally's suite, Nick tells her he's sorry their reunion was overshadowed by Adam. He didn't want her to see him go off on his brother like that. Sally says it wasn't pretty. Nick wanted to surprise her. That's why he didn't call her when he got back. Sally wants to explain why she was with Adam. Nick is sure Adam tricked her into seeing him. Sally hedges. It wasn't quite what you think. She explains there's been a gradual change in her relationship with Adam, especially after the loss of Ava. She has gotten to a point where she can forgive him and can recognize that he is dealing with his own pain. She brought him a housewarming gift as a gesture of goodwill. Nick muses that reaching out to Adam rarely goes the way you want it to. Sally says this time was no different. She explains that Adam got called to the ranch, and he invited her to stay and order dinner. There was something he wanted to talk to her about, but Nick showed up and everything got complicated. Nick apologizes and wants to forget about Adam. Sally says, welcome home, and they kiss. Adam spots Audra and Kyle canoodling at the jazz bar and approaches. Let me guess, you're celebrating because you managed to weasel your way out of a very compromising position. Audra has nothing to say to him. Adam can't decide if she's a genius or a total coward. Audra tells him his mistake was underestimating her. Adam loves her confidence but asks how she knows he won't release that damning evidence anyway. Kyle stands up and says, I don't think you'd want to piss Victor off like that, or me. Adam smirks, Kyle, Audra may be impressed but I'm not. Is that the best you've got? Adam tells Audra and Kyle that he and his father reached an understanding. He wants to make something clear to Audra and her puppy dog. I will regain control of Newman Media one way or another, whatever it takes. He walks out and Kyle tells Audra he probably means it, that Newman does not hold back when you want something. If an innocent bystander gets hurt, so be it. Audra says she's not scared but has a faraway look. At the club bar, Victoria tells Nate he's saying all the right things. He wants to discuss this further upstairs. Victoria is enticed but Johnny and Katie are waiting for her. I should probably just get going home, but we'll talk tomorrow. Nate says, sure. Tomorrow. He kisses her cheek goodnight and walks out. In Sally's suite, she and Nick make out. He asks, did you miss me? Sally giggles. What, you can't tell? Nick will need some convincing. She starts unbuttoning his shirt as they make out.